for our Rotary E-Club, other than lunch, the most exciting part of every one of our meetings would be when we have a special guest speaker. And we have a special guest speaker today. It's my privilege to introduce to you the former president, because she graduated, of the Rotaract Club at Pierce College, which is actually why she's here today to teach us about Rotaract, the current president-elect of the Rotary Club of West San Fernando Valley, and by way of embarrassing her just a little, also the youngest president-elect in District 5280, the only person who was carded during President-elect training seminar. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our guest speaker today, Nallely Castro-Bello.
Don't run away from me.
Oh, don't run away. Whoa, whoa.
So I'm going to pass those around, and that's actually how I got introduced to Rotary. Okay. So, my name is Nallely Castro-Bello. I am 24 years old. Everybody wants to know how old I am. I'm a 7-year cosmetologist, and I went to West Valley, and that's where I met the Chatsworth Rotary. A little bit about myself. I was born in Mexico. My mom brought us over when we were very young. I've been here my whole life, and my father was an attorney. My mother was a paralegal, and she brought us here for a better future, and I have it now. I became the Rotaract president because Kathy Oborn made me join. I had no choice. But she used to talk to me about Rotary all the time. I told them that's the reason why I went to college, because they gave me a scholarship to go to college. And here I am now. I'm a member for 1.5 years now, and I'm excited about being a president. Very scared because everybody's way older than me, but hopefully they take me seriously.
Same thing's true here. Everybody's older than I am.
And how I started the club. It was a little difficult. We didn't have a lot of funds because Kathy's club wasn't a very big club, so we were divided in between the West Hills Club and the Woodland Hills Club and Kathy's club. And I didn't like how they treated us because they didn't want to mentor us. They just wanted to use us when they needed some heavy lifting. So maybe if you guys start a Rotaract club, you guys can mentor them, because that's what I joined for. I wanted somebody to take me under their wing and show me the ropes of Rotary, show me how it works, show me a little bit about the profession I'm going into, because I'm undergoing a change. And I'm doing a paralegal program, and I'm trying to go to law school. So hair is not going to be my future. But is there anything you guys want to know about me?
So how has been your experience with Rotary?
Great.
The club versus Rotaract.
Rotary, it's been a little more difficult to try to get into, because every time they see me, they go, well, why aren't you in Rotaract still? But I want to be a Rotarian because I have a lot of things to be grateful for. One being that they paid for my first 2 semesters of college, and the second being that I have a lot to be grateful for. When I was younger, they used to give, the Rotary Club in Lancaster used to give clothes away, and that's how we got clothes to go to school for. So.
How was the transition from Rotaract to?
It was very difficult because nobody explained to me really what Rotary was. I had to research it online, and I had to kind of learn. Kathy tends to just throw you in and make you learn. And nobody sat and told me. I didn't learn the 4-way test, so I went to PETS. We don't have a formal meeting where nobody stands up and speaks. It's kind of round table-ish.
Nallely, that's very good input. I was wondering, how many members did you have in Rotaract in your group?
I actually got a lot of members. We were 60. 60 active, and then I was the president of the Honor Society too, and I kind of joined both of them together. So we had over 100 members in Rotaract, 60 participating, and when I left, I forced my brother to be the president.
And so what's the age group for Rotaract?
Anywhere from, we had a 17-year-old who came to college kind of after school, till the oldest one was 43. But because he was in college, and one of the requirements is college.
And now, are you still in touch with your fellow Rotaractors?
Yes. It's a little hard. Everybody transfers out, and some are in Berkeley, some are out of state, some are at UCLA. So it gets a little hard, but we still talk. We still have the same emails, and we still, once in a while, talk to each other.
Because I see it as a wonderful group to invite to your club, to our club, and have them learn a little bit more about Rotary while they're getting to know actual Rotarians. So your input is really valuable about how they didn't know enough and get to do research to actually find out what Rotary means or what it's about.
And maybe be a little more friendly and less intimidating, because
Yes.
I got taken to a couple of meetings, the Woodland Hills Club, and nobody introduced themselves, nobody even cared to say hi. And Kathy's club was small, and all they wanted to do was ask me questions of how I was going to help with the events, and can I help set up, and can I help move this, and it was never, they never asked me about my career path, they never asked me how I liked Rotary. It wasn't ever about what I wanted to do in Rotary, or if I even wanted to join. It was more of a, what can you do for us? How can your club? Well, and Kathy's club, yeah.
Every club has different personalities. When you visit other clubs, you'll find there are no two alike.
Well, we welcome the Rotaractors here.
Thank you. When I met the Chatsworth Club, I actually asked them if I could join after they gave me my scholarship, and they told me I couldn't because I was too young, and I had to have 3 years of vocational experience in my field. So I would have joined earlier. I would have joined at 18, but I wasn't allowed.
And that's interesting, because the technical rule is, the leadership skills isn't a rule, it's just good advice.
Right.
But the idea is a business or community leader, so yeah, the experience helps. Age 18 is the cutoff. There's no actual rule in Rotary. Your club can have its own policy. Our policy is, do you have leadership skills, are you friendly, and do you have a heart of service, and yeah, are you 18? We have to go with that. Your Rotaract club, you did operate independently also of the Rotary clubs. Did you guys do stuff as a Rotaract club, your own projects, your own whatever you were doing? What sorts of things did you do?
After I moved away from both clubs, because they weren't utilizing us the way I wanted to be utilized, by putting us straight into the community and having us do stuff for the community versus for the club, I did the Warner Park movie in the park and the concerts in the park, and we actually went around and collected the donations. I don't know if you guys saw this. If anybody went, we were the ones in the red Rotaract shirts. We went around, collected, and we got 20% of whatever we collected for our club. So I left the club with a lot of money, and we gave a lot of scholarships away. We bought a lot of books for other students, and one of the things was you join, you participate, and you're allowed to get scholarship money. That was one. We did the e-waste, which didn't really go so well at Pierce College because they took away 50% of our proceeds, and we weren't really left with much after that. We did candy sales at the Day of the Dead for the Canoga Park Chamber of Commerce for the Main Street. We sold candy and we helped set up, and that's how we got more money to donate to the center, the children's center in Canoga Park where the old library was, and we gave them our proceeds, and that's one of our projects now. So we did that. Anything else?
I grew up in that library.
I did too.
It was a great library.
It looks so small now, but
Yeah.
Well, this is just a comment. I don't know if we haven't had a chance to talk that much, but I was a Rotary ambassadorial scholar to Spain in 1985. And I met a group of Rotaractors when I was on my scholarship, and they welcomed me and they had me get involved in all of their community projects. So it's nice to see, Rotaractors all over the world, and anyway, they took me dancing too, and got me interested in flamenco dance, and that's how I studied flamenco dance there as well. So anyway, just a comment to say that they're all over the world, they're wonderful, and we want to bring them into Rotary and not just let them go.
And I'm going to get on my soapbox, but if young people come to your club, please don't send them away. I got a big thing of, why aren't you joining new generations, or why aren't you staying in Rotaract, when I really wanted to become a Rotarian? And it kind of felt like, am I not good enough to be a Rotarian? And it kind of turned me off till Kathy said, you're going to join. Yeah.
Now, from our club's perspective, being new at this, and needing to look around a little bit where there might be, there are college-based Rotaract clubs
Right.
in the world. There are also community-based Rotaract clubs where the upper limit is 30 and it has nothing to do with a college. Around here, where we are in Southern California, most of it is college-based. If we were to reach out to a college that doesn't have a Rotaract club and eventually someday, somewhat soon, try to start one, what would you recommend our approach be? Who would we approach in terms of student leadership, in terms of faculty or administration? If we were going to build one from the beginning, what would we need to do to get it going?
Well, you could do two things. You could do the community-based one, which is what we turned into, because since we didn't have any funds, we had to get other people from other clubs to come and help us. So the Pierce College Club turned into a community-based Rotaract Club, where other members from other colleges and other universities came and joined us. But the initial way, I guess, to start it is to go to a vocational school and talk to them and have them maybe connect with you guys. Most vocational students transfer out to a university anyway, and you could get them there and interested in growing their own business and growing their goals. Kathy started it by just asking a bunch of the honor students if we wanted to make a club, and it always looks good on our scholarship applications and university applications, so we all said yes. Maybe you want to go that route, just go talk to the smart kids. But yeah, you could do that.
Anyone who joins Rotaract becomes a smart kid just based on that decision. So,
but keep us locked in. Keep us locked in by inviting us to events, by inviting us to meetings, by letting us sit in and just learn on how to run. I didn't know how to run our meeting at the Rotaract because we didn't know that we needed a 4-way test. We didn't even know we had a 4-way test. We didn't know that we needed to have all the Pledge of Allegiance we had, but we didn't know we had to have the inspirational talk or any of that. So all we did was just everybody came, sit down, and we talked to each other about what we want to do, and everybody left. And kind of the structure of the meetings is what pulled me in.
Yoko, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry if you have already explained, but everyone had a chance to look at your
Yes.
photos. We don't know what we're looking at. Maybe you can explain what we're looking at. Oh, sorry.
So the first one was of my graduation. I was 17 years old, and this is my mom, and that's my graduation from beauty school, and that's where they pulled me in. This one is they made us write them a 3-page kind of letter to them, telling them about ourselves, and then asking them for the money and why we needed it. So we needed to read it out to the club, the Chatsworth Club.
For the scholarship.
For the scholarship. This is me getting my scholarship and the Rotarians who actually approved my application for the scholarship. This is the other 2 students. They actually were only supposed to give out 1 scholarship, but they liked all 3 of us, so they gave us all scholarships. $2,000 worth, so that was good. And then this is all of us, and this is the lady who actually, she used to be a Rotarian and retired. Right here, she was 94. I don't know if you guys
Wow.
took. Yeah, her name was Birdie, and she actually went around to Rotary clubs and asked them to donate to for the West Valley Occupational Center.
Is there still a Rotary? You said you become community-based, but your brother is still the president of the Rotaract
Yes.
Club at Pierce.
Yes.
So what are they up to these days?
They are really not up too much because we don't have funds for them. After I left, another person took over the club, and they asked a lot of their friends to join in, and because Pierce controls the money, they gave away all our money to their friends as scholarship money. And when my brother got the club, it was, I think they had $20 in the bank account.
So he has to rebuild from scratch.
So we're rebuilding it, and we don't have a lot of help or funding since we're a small club.
So but technically that Rotaract Club is still being sponsored by West San Fernando Valley.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
What did you mean Pierce controls the money?
Well, when a club is started out of college, they have to, any money they get has to be put inside the foundation, which is for all clubs, especially if you're chartered at that school, which you have to be chartered. you have to put your money in their bank account. And they charge you to keep it, they charge you to take out, and then people could apply for those scholarships, and it has to be fair to everybody. So anybody in the school can apply for those scholarships. The only things we can make are the requirements where you have to have volunteered. We can't require you to be a member, but we can require you to be a volunteer for our events. You could do that. You could put a little bit of money in the club fund, and then you could have an account outside. But there's where it gets tricky because you need 2 people to be on the account, and they could go and take money out of the account at any time without telling the club or anybody else. So it's safer to have it inside the school than to have a private account. Yeah, but you need to be chartered within a college, and usually it has to be minimum 20 members, have to be full-time students, and then after that anybody else can join.
Now, when you were running the Rotaract Club itself, how often did your Rotaract Club meet in terms of a planning session, not in terms of when you were doing a project? And at any point, was a representative of the Rotary Club, did they ever come to your meetings to help or see what was going on?
So we met once a month, and then if we had an event, we met twice a month. And that was just a plan, and not everybody showed up because we can't require them to show up. So it was whoever wanted to come could come. Katie, she got married. She's from the Woodland Hills Club.
Yeah, and
Katie used to come to our meeting. Lois used to come, and Kathy obviously came. They used to come at the beginning. After a while, they got a little busy, and they started trying to ask other members to come and sit in our meetings to help us run it. But all they wanted to do was ask us for us to go and help. They never talked to us about their career, what they did, or anything. It was just, so are you guys going to come to this event because we need 10 people to work this event and work that? And they used to leave us run it. They used to make us run the event, but then they wouldn't give us credit for the event. So we would work it. We would be there all day, and not a thank you, not a we're going to donate to you, nothing.
This is an excellent learning experience for how a Rotary Club should approach anything we ever work on in our lives.
And we had a big problem because I actually wrote a letter to the district governor because they promised us to, if we worked an event, they would give us the funds, and they never gave. They never did, and then they turned around and said we never promised anything. We had it in writing, we had it on our emails, and the presidents spoke to each other. So when it came down to get our funds so that we could get shirts and we could get pins and we could look like a Rotaract Club, the funds weren't there. Nobody said we didn't promise anything, there's not enough money made, and we ended up working like slaves.
Yeah, well, just remember that her dad, lawyer, her mom, paralegal, she is studying for paralegal, she's going to go to law school. So no one's going to get away with that sort of behavior again.
Well, we need to hear all this from young folks who are involved in Rotaract and who are now wanting to be Rotary.
So after that, I learned, get it in writing, get 3 other people other than the people directly involved, and have it set in front of the whole entire club. Because otherwise, we miss out.
So, the folks that would be coming to be involved in a Rotaract Club, what they're looking, what they're looking for is, number one, they want some of the volunteer credits out. That looks great. So that's a good reason to know that that's what their needs are. And also, you're looking for mentoring, being educated in business and meeting, and you're looking for learning and growth and mentoring. From your perspective.
And so that was the pitch to me when I started the club, that we were going to have mentors who would come in, and if you wanted to be an attorney would come in and speak to us how to get there, what you did, how the business was, and that was pitched to me, and I pitched that out to everybody who I wanted to join. People joined like crazy because obviously we're in college, we want to figure out if this is what we want to do, how do we get there, what was the road, was it hard or easy. And we got one person who came in and tried to sell insurance to us. So, yeah. And we got professors. I mean, the professors came in from Pierce College, but not everybody wanted to be professors. A lot of people wanted to be different things, and nobody would have time, or they would promise. I would have them on our schedule. I would tell people, you know, this person or this person is coming, come in, and I would promote it on campus. We get there and the person didn't show up.
So as a Rotary Club, there are a couple of things we would know when it's time to work on Rotaract.
Right.
Thing number one, it's a partnership, not a one-way street. Everything in Rotary is a two-way street at all times. It sounds like thing number two is no false advertising,
right,
which is also good in life itself. And thing number three would probably be do what you said you were going to do, come through, and all you're going to do is create a feeder system of great future Rotarians who know how wonderful Rotary can be for everybody. So from that learning perspective, with anything we do, this is, you know, an excellent thing. Now, the Rotaract Club is still being, your club is still sponsoring the Rotaract
Right.
Club.
Right.
Does Woodland Hills have any connection to it anymore?
I cut them off.
Yeah.
I had to. I gave them 3 chances.
Yeah.
They killed the first 2, and the third one was they told us that they would give us our money, but we would have to come to the club and they were going to make a donation when we worked for the
Right.
funds. So they wanted the media part of it. They wanted the press. They wanted us to go. They were going to invite Councilman Sines.
Zine, yeah, Dennis
to give
Zine,
us,
yeah.
to give us the money so that he could get press too. And you're not donating to us, we worked for that money.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
was the third and final straw, and
Yeah,
I said,
well,
no, thank you.
Yeah.
I let them keep the money.
Yeah, my evil reaction to that, of course, would be now you invite Councilman Zine to be the guest speaker at your Rotaract Club and forget about the rest of it. I'm sorry, I think I saw Roy's
I
hand.
have a question. Now that we're Sherman Oaks Sunset now, the E Club, don't we have an Interact Club that we should be dealing with, or whatever happened to it?
There was an Interact Club at Van Nuys that I believe it is no longer functional, but once everything's in play, we will look into that again from scratch.
Right.
It's a long story. I have more detail that fortunately there's an edit function on
Okay.
iMovie, so this conversation will never be heard. But yeah, it's a long story, but yeah. But again, once we are an official chartered club, to the extent we have the personnel to achieve these things, if we can find start an Interact Club, if we can support a Rotaract Club, it's good for the world.
And obviously the message
But
now,
you don't
let's
need
make sure that everyone's really clear and completely understands from both sides.
But the
what's
thing
going
is, though,
on.
you don't. When we say sponsor, or when I asked to be sponsored, I didn't need you to give us money. I needed you to give us the support.
Right.
We could go earn our money, which is one thing I told the Woodland Hills Club, that I could go earn the money. I could go get events. I just need you to be there and be our backbone. The money's gonna come and go. We could work that. We could get it from other places. So you don't have to necessarily have a bank account to fund a Rotaract Club or an Interact Club. Just be there for support. If they need homework, help with their homework, if you know how to do biology and they need a biology homework, come and help us. Come sit down with us. Come talk to us. That's all we really wanted.
It's exactly, because a Rotaract Club is a fully functional service club.
Club,
There's
right.
nothing wrong with it. You should be responsible for your own funds and fundraising. Yeah, if the Rotary Club can help, that's great. But the point again is sustainability. There should be a Rotaract Club at Pierce College that's fully functional 10 years from now, when no one actually related to Nallely is running it. But that's the idea of any sustainable service club. So what can we create? I mean, we're going right back to the water project. What can we create that will live forever because it's able to function by itself? That's exactly the kind of support we would have assumed you needed. So
All we want is
It's
it's the relationship. Just come in, talk to us, sit in our meetings. Not it doesn't have to be necessarily the same people, but just show support. Show that we have somebody there, other than just whoever's chartering us. Take us to your events.
So when we're ready to have a Rotaract Club, I'm going to call you.
Yeah.
You're my counterpart now, President-elect, and maybe you could mentor us and help us in creating that. And also, when you're an attorney, you're hired. You're going to make an awesome attorney.
Thank you.
I tried to talk her out of it, obviously.
Well, one of the things when I first met Birdie, which is the lady who introduced me to Rotary, she said that back in the day, what used to happen is that you would train the person who would come and eventually replace you, since there's only supposed to be one vocation in the whole club, one person doing the same vocation in the whole club, and an attorney would go get a law student and bring them in, so that when they start practicing, and you stop practicing, they replace you, and you're still members of the same club. So maybe you guys could do that with your Rotaract members.
There are lots of ways, and it again sounds like know your audience.
Yeah.
What does this group of people who have formed a Rotaract club at their college, what do they need? What are they expecting?
Mentors.
Not what do we, mentors. Mentors and activity and the heart for service and putting all those things together at once.
And make it fun. We are young. We do want to have fun.
Yeah. And occasionally our club has fun too, even though only a few of us are young. But, well, we're all young. We're just, well, no, we're all immature, so it's okay. Exactly. So I'm just going to stand up and walk over. Ladies and gentlemen, Nallely Castro-Bello, thank you for